Thanks for tuning in and taking your next step. Today we're talking about grateful people give generously. I want to tell you about one of the greatest sermons ever. Unfortunately, it probably wasn't the one I just gave this past week, but if you go to Matthew chapter 5, Jesus had just chosen the 12 disciples. He began to teach them. Crowds wanted to hear, and so they too were there and crowded around Jesus. And he, in chapters 5, 6, and 7 of Matthew, gave probably, arguably, the greatest sermon ever. You can't read Matthew 5, 6, and 7 and not be convicted. And about halfway through in Matthew 6, Jesus starts talking about money. And as a pastor, as a preacher, I can just sense what happened. People began to look down at their shoes and they began to shuffle dirt and they began to wonder how they could get out of hearing this because he began to share some amazing words then and now. And he was talking about heart things. Here's what he said. Let me just read part of you. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. He said, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal." Jesus is not saying we're not supposed to make money or have stuff or save money. What he's talking about is the heart of the matter behind our money and our stuff. And he makes this very convicting statement in verse 21. He says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." I know it's been said, some of you have heard it, I've probably said it, but it's been said that if you look at someone's checkbook, or in our day and age, if you look at someone's online checking account, you can see where their heart is. And I've had some of you talk to me about how that's made you mad and how you've left churches over it, but it's true. If we look at our checking account, we can see where our heart is. Jesus went on to say, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." What Jesus was saying here is, look, you're either going to be obsessed with your money and your stuff, or you're going to be obsessed with me, but you can't have it both ways. So as we think about taking our next step today with grateful people give generously, I would challenge you to think about that. Where's your obsession? Who are you obsessed with? Are you obsessed with your stuff? Or are you obsessed with Jesus?